Welcome to Seemingly Unrelated. We got a special guest here today, Bekah Helbig. What's up, Bekah?
Not much.
So, Bekah has a very interesting story of how she has lost over 100 pounds. Me and Bekah actually go back to high school days, even before then, growing up in Matthews County. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop. So far back.
So far back. I love it how we do it here in Matthews. We're together for a long time. A long time. All right, so Bekah has just awesome journey. You know, I watch her Instagram sometimes, and she's like lifting refrigerators and stuff. And like it's just been totally inspirational to watch her journey go the way it has gone. And I'm just excited to be able to have her on here. I've been asking her for a long time to have this conversation. And here we are today. So thank you for watching with us. And so we're just going to talk about your journey, Bekah, and how things have went.
Okay.
So what made you start this journey?
I was just not myself anymore. I'd gained so much weight. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had have three kids. And I was just not being the mom that I should have been. I was, instead of playing with the kids, I was sitting on the couch, just like no motivation to do anything anymore. And I've always been like a really outgoing person, and, I just wasn't doing that anymore. The kids were outside playing, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, I should be playing with them, not just sitting here watching them. Gotcha. But I had gained so much weight, and I was depressed. So I was like, you know what? I have to do something. And I had been like researching different like weight loss plans and things that, the thing is, I didn't want to do something and it be like a fad diet and do it for a couple months and then just be like, oh, I'm done. Or you do it, lose the weight, and then immediately gain weight back. So I came across keto and I was like, I think I could probably get behind that.
Can you explain keto a little bit? Because I've seen your posts.
Yeah.
People talk about keto, and
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's keto.
I don't know what keto is. So you can eat bacon? Okay. So
I will eat a lot of bacon.
I'm not going to lie. I was like, I like bacon. So keto is very low carb, very high fat, moderate protein. So when you talk about keto, a lot of people throw out macros, like tracking your macros. And at first I was like, I'd like read something and then see macros and like Google, what the heck is a macro?
Because I was about to ask you, what is a macro?
So your macros are your different like daily intakes of, when you're talking keto, it's fat, protein, carbs. Okay. So you want, like I said, you want very high fat, you want moderate protein, and you want very low carbs. Like when I started keto, I mean, it's different for each person depending on how much weight you need to lose, or, what your starting weight is, things like that. There's, drastic macros for big weight loss, or there's, macros for maintaining. They vary. Okay. Mine, when I started, it was recommended, to stay between 25 and 30 net carbs. So net carbs, on keto, you do net carbs, not total carbs. Okay. So between 25 and 30. And I always tried to stay on like the 25 side of the carbs. Just, the lower carbs you intake, the more weight you're going to lose. So once I got to, almost 100 pounds down, I had switched to about 20 carbs a day, because the lower your carbs, the more weight you lose. So I kind of plateaued at my 25 carbs a day, so I needed to drop that down a little bit.
Gotcha. So it's, quote unquote, there's levels to this.
Yes, there is.
When you get to a certain point, what you're doing will not get you to your next
right. You'll just
point.
Plateau, because your body is like, okay, well, this is what I need to stay at the weight that I'm at right now. So you have to kind of tweak it the more weight you lose, you have to keep tweaking it to lose more.
And that's interesting, because seemingly unrelated deals with the fact that though you may not be losing weight, the principles are the same to commitment to greatness. Yeah. And so you get to a certain point like, okay, my workout has got me here, or my grind has got me to this point, but maybe what I want requires me to go a little bit deeper than what got me here, or I'll just plateau.
Yes. And I had plateaued for probably 2 months, I would say. And I was, kind of getting in my head like, well, I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm not at my goal weight, Right. And so I had to rework some stuff, because it's easy when you get to that point and you're like, well, I'm not losing weight anymore, to just be like, well, this is all I've got left. I'm right. just going to be comfortable here for forever and I can't do anymore. But you just have to tweak things to get it done.
I guess it's like, it's good, but it's not gold.
Right, exactly.
That is deep right there. So how did you feel when you started? Because like I had to wait until I started working out to have this interview. And we out here in the country, y'all. So country combined with COVID, combined with, just being out in the middle of nowhere is like, my gym is a cornfield.
Legitimately.
And we don't have streets, we got roads.
Yeah.
So walking the cornfield, I got a Galaxy Watch. Go Android.
Yeah.
Hashtag Android, Team Android.
Yes. Hashtag Apple Watch.
But I got it as a gift from my lovely wife, and it was a reminder of how many steps I was getting.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really, really low. I need to do something. And so I started walking, and I remember that first lap walking and like busting sweat.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know that walking would make me feel this way. And I did one lap, and I was like, listen, I don't know if we can commit to this.
That is.
How did you feel when you started?
So when I started keto, I started in April of 2018, and I started just the keto diet, just eating right. I was like, I'm not gonna be like, in 1 week, change my diet, get a gym membership, gotcha. Like all at once. So I started in April, and then I would say probably about middle of May, I had already lost probably 10 pounds by that point. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start like walking. And eventually in the back of my head, I was like, maybe I'll jog one day, maybe, not to get too ambitious or anything, but so that's what I would do. I would just, I was outside playing with the kids at that point, more right. and getting my energy level back up. But I would walk, and then I would try to walk a little faster and walk a little faster. But I'm telling you, it was like half a mile in, and I'm like drenched in sweat, and so out of shape. It was ridiculous. And I was like, I'm exhausted. But every time after I finished even just walking, I felt so much better. Like I had more energy. I felt good about myself that I had done something productive. And so then flash forward, the new gym opened in Matthews. And that was in, I believe, the middle to end of that August. So I was working out by myself at home, walking, things like that for a few months until the gym opened up, and got a gym membership, and it was just, I took off from there.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But yeah, so pretty much start where you start.
Yeah. You can't be like, in one day running 4 miles if you haven't worked out at all in a year, Right. So just slowly start walking. And then I would make goals for myself when I did decide to start running, which I say running lightly because it was literally like a jog from one mailbox to the next. And that's what I would do. I would look ahead and I would set a goal like, okay, I can jog from this mailbox to that mailbox without stopping. And I would do that, and then I'd walk for a second, and I'd be like, there's another mailbox. I can run to that mailbox or jog to it. And before you know it, if you just keep doing that, eventually you don't have to stop walking, and
which makes me realize that like it's measurable goals.
Yeah. You cannot, you know, I think a lot of, and I did this myself, like measurable goals, you know, if you look at it like when you start, like I have 100 pounds to lose, I will never do it. I'll never be able to lose 100 pounds. Well, that's a huge weight on your shoulders to just only focus on losing 100 pounds. So, I mean, yeah, in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to lose around 100 pounds, or I needed to lose that much.
Right.
But I would just be like, okay, my first goal is to lose 25 pounds.
Right.
I would reach that goal, and my next goal was, okay, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, you know? So it wasn't this huge weight on my shoulders of, great, I lost 15 pounds, but I've still got, you know, like 80 to go, or things like that. So just setting small goals for yourself makes it so much more enjoyable than having this heavy load of something you think you'll never achieve on your shoulders.
That is dope. Like you can use that in every area of your life. Anybody who's doing something great, because I believe great people are watching this morning, or I guess it would be this evening. And so, but there's one thing that I do want to bring up is that this drink that you have is keto friendly.
Oh yeah. So that's another thing, is that when you start, you're like so overwhelmed, like I can't drink this anymore, and I can't eat this anymore, and that was my favorite, and how will I ever, you know, I'm gonna miss it so much. But you find so many alternatives that are so good. So where I used to go get like a caramel macchiato, you know.
Wait, where do you get a caramel macchiato from at Matthews?
The Daily Grind. I don't know if you've been there, but it's super. We love it.
We do.
It's so good. So I used to get a regular caramel macchiato, and it was full of sugar. And so I had to tweak it. So now I will do, you know, depending on, even at home or wherever I go, I will get, you know, just regular coffee, a sugar-free syrup, you know, like either a sugar-free vanilla, sugar-free caramel, and like heavy whipping cream in it. So heavy whipping cream is better than milk for keto, because milk has some carbs in it, and heavy whipping cream is super high in fat, which you want on keto, and very low carb. So just tweaking little things like that, and it's delicious. So
I mean, I don't know if you can or not, but you could go to the Daily Grind and ask for the Bekah.
Yeah, ask for the Bekah, and they'll whip it up for you. It's a keto-friendly drink.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go. We're going to be right back. Here is a word from our sponsors, and we're going to be right back with more from Bekah. Welcome back, guys. We're here with Bekah Helbig, just telling us great things about this journey that she is on. She's lost over 100 pounds. You sent me an updated picture that you're at 107. Yes. I will not be losing 100 pounds, but I am on the road to better health and losing what I need to lose to be the best person that I can be, and inspired by Bekah that is right here with us. So hopefully that you're getting inspired through this conversation. And so I want to ask you this, Bekah. What was a moment that you truly believed that this was a life change and not really just a fad? And also, how did you feel when it happened?
It was a couple months in when I first posted, or the day that I decided to do keto. You know, I posted a picture because I was like, all right, well, this is accountability. And that's the day that I started using like my Facebook and Instagram as accountability for me. It was kind of like, well, if I'm telling somebody I'm doing it, then I'm going to do it, you know?
No accountability like social media.
Right? Like, I'm not going to be like posting a picture of my eggs day one of keto and then going out to breakfast somewhere else and them seeing me eat pancakes. Like, you know, I couldn't do it. So it was like, all right, if I post this, that's what I'm going to do. So I never liked eggs before. Like, they legit belonged in a cake, and that was it. And I posted day one of keto, and it was like all I heard from so many people was keto is not good for you. Like, you're going to have a heart attack, or, you know, from all the fat. And it was so much negativity when I first started. And I guess I kind of wasn't prepared for that part of it. Like, I was excited about, all right, I have a lot of weight to lose and I'm making an effort. Right. You know, you kind of want support. And I'm not saying nobody supported me. There were people who supported me, but the majority of it was, it's not good for you. It's not healthy. And clearly I had over 100 pounds I needed to lose. I wasn't being healthy to begin with. You know, I was eating, chips and salsa are my weakness.
Listen, Cheetos,
that's yours?
Yes,
Cheetos?
I love Cheetos.
No, I'm telling you, popcorn.
What?
Oh, listen, when I was pregnant, like, Chris Helbig would have to go to the movie theater on the way home. We weren't even at a movie, and I wanted a bucket of movie theater popcorn.
Hey, shout out to my man Chris is holding it down.
Yeah, poor man. That's all I've got to say. And chips and salsa, I ate chips and salsa with our second child, Emmett. He's the middle one. And I ate it like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I was pregnant with him. And that kid, all he wants is chips and salsa. Like, he would eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm like, I created a monster. But it wasn't healthy, okay? Right. So I had to it was probably about 2 months in. I had lost about 10, maybe 15 pounds by that point. And once people started seeing that I was losing weight and the results, and at that point I'm posting pictures and, you know, posting recipes of the meals that I'm making, and it wasn't just bacon, you know, it wasn't just bacon and steak anymore. I was finding so many different alternatives and you know, found low carb wraps so I could still eat tacos and things like that. You know, I was making tortilla chips with low carb shells. So I was still eating chips and salsa. It's just minor tweaks that I found, you know, to make it so I wasn't miserable on a diet, which it's not a diet. It legitimately is a lifestyle change. So about 2 to 3 months in, I started, every time I'd post an update or post a recipe, somebody sliding in my DMs who was a few months ago saying it's super unhealthy. Now they're like, teach me your ways. Like, what are you doing? I need help. It's working for you. You know, you're eating all of this good food and you're losing a lot of weight. So it was funny to see everybody's mindset change. You didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Back then, you're going to die of a heart attack in like 2 weeks. And now you know, which I love helping people. Like, I absolutely love it. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Other thing, while stalking your Instagram or Facebook, one of these was on it. There was a picture that looked something like this.
I posted that. Oh my God.
All right. And so on this picture right here, it says, when you get out of the shower and you stare at yourself in the mirror, wondering where it all went wrong.
That was legit.
That's legit? That's how it, okay.
Oh my gosh.
And so can you give me an example of a time that you felt like quitting, but something made you keep going?
I think, you kind of get in a slump every now and then. Maybe you have kind of hit a little plateau, and some weeks, especially when you first start keto, when you've got a lot of weight to lose, you're dropping a lot of weight at once. There was some weeks where I was seeing like an 8-pound loss.
Wow. So at the beginning of the week, you had 8 pounds that you didn't have at the end of the week.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Now, that was, when I first started, and all of it was coming off at once. And then, the more weight you lose, the harder it is to lose weight. So I would have, some weeks where I'd lose a pound, some weeks where I'd lose half of a pound, and sometimes you're like so close to like one of your mini goals, and you're like, I've been working on this for like a month on just losing like 3 pounds, and I haven't done it yet. So there was times where before I would have given up, but I liked it. I liked how I was eating. I loved how working out made me feel.
Right.
So I refused to give up. I absolutely refused.
So like what I'm hearing is like you found a why behind what you were doing.
Yeah, for sure. I am not a perfect mom. I will lose it on my kids way quicker than I should.
Listen, if you don't got kids, you can't talk about what it's
exactly.
like to have kids.
You're only a perfect parent before you have kids. Okay. So, but I was enjoying like motherhood like I never had before. I was out bike riding with my kids. I was, before I was always like going to the beach. I didn't want to put on a bathing suit and play in the water with my kids. Like, I was like more concerned with, for one, I felt miserable. I hated how I looked, in a bathing suit in front of people, and, always worried about, what you shouldn't be, but you are, the judgment of others, what they're saying about you, and she needs to lose weight and all of that. And I didn't have that anymore. Even though I still had a lot of weight to lose, like I was the one on the little kayaks with my kids at the beach, and I'm jumping off the boat and swimming with them, and just enjoying life and enjoying being a fun mom who does things with her kids. That was the biggest change for me. So. And
I guess that's a motivation, like when you've started to do something and you start to see the change and you start to tell the difference, that it gives you the push to keep going. Because like you said in the beginning, you're dropping weight like that.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point where you don't see as much as the results. So if your goal was to just see the change in weight dropping, then you'll lose your intensity and you don't see it drop.
Yeah.
But you got to find what your why is beyond the results that you get.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that'll keep you going. And that's for business, that's for family, that's for life.
Yeah.
Like to find out what is your why, what makes you tick, what is your aim, function, idea, intention, object, point, principle, the reason and therefore that you live your life.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what that is so that you can keep on pressing. And the cat was funny though.
Yeah.
I think we all feel that way sometimes.
I don't even remember posting that.
Don't
you must have been
Facebook?
way back.
Don't you love Forever Facebook? So with people who are like, I don't have the time to do this.
Yeah.
I saw this post, which may be a helpful tool to them.
Oh yeah. That's like my lifeline.
Okay. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So actually that started because one of my best friends, Hope, like she is the reason that I have made it this far. And she always says, whenever I try to like give her the credit or anything, she's like, you did the work. Okay. But without her, like pushing me and training me, I would legitimately not be sitting here right now talking to you. I'd probably still be back on my couch, with gained everything back. So when the gym opened in Matthews and we all started going, she had a gym membership before. Okay. But when it started in Matthews and they finally had Child Watch, I could actually go and take my kids. So we were one morning, we would go pretty much every morning or at least 3 mornings a week. And we're on the treadmill and she's a runner, she's run a marathon and all of that and numerous half marathons and stuff. And I told her on the treadmill, like I was walking on the treadmill and she was like doing speed work or something beside me. And I was like, I have always had this like dream of running a 5K, like an actual 5K. And she like whipped her head around and she was like, then do it. And I was like, I could never do that. So you probably remember this, but I broke my left ankle 5 times so far. Like, really? So I say so far, knock on wood, it better never happen again. But yeah, the first time was we were in 6th grade doing crab soccer in gym class, and my growth plate hit the side of the wall and just like cracked. Okay. So ever since then, my ankle was really weak. And then flash forward to 2014, I broke my right ankle and had to have surgery and some screws and like rods put in it. Okay. So I always used my weak ankles as an excuse for not being able to work out, being overweight, not being able to do pretty much everything. I used my ankles as an excuse. Gotcha. And I legitimately thought my ankles are really weak. Like I don't want to break them again, so I'm not going to go do that. Right. So I said to her, my ankles are weak. And she was like, well, we're going to strengthen them, so they won't be weak anymore. So that was like the first week of September. And she found a 5K in November and was like, I'm going to make a plan and you're going to run that race. We're going to run it together.
And here's a picture coming up of that.
Yeah, so, that was my first race, the 5K in Norfolk. And I did. So she bought me one of those daily planner sheets. And every single day for however it was from middle of September through the end of Norfolk, the week of the race, every day it was what I needed to do. At what class I was taking at the gym, strength training, how many miles I needed to run, how long I would run and then walk. And that is the reason I was able to run that race. And so then after I ran the 5K in Norfolk, my first one, I bought another one of those and started using it for planning my meals and my workouts. Wow. Yeah. So, and I pretty much do that all the time now. And a lot of people are like, I can't stick to a strict schedule like that. Like things come up. So, I mean, I'm not saying that if I say on Tuesday, I'm going to eat, keto fried chicken and green beans. Right. And something comes up, I will switch that to a different day of the week. But for the most part, when I go grocery shopping, I'm like, all right, well, I have this for this week and I can, switch up my days of when I'm going to eat what. But it really, really helps stay on track, not splurge and be like, well, I don't really feel like cooking tonight. So y'all want Chinese food? Things like that.
But you've purposed for your day what you intend to do, which makes a big difference when you purpose your day before you get there.
For sure. I mean, even just, writing down, I typically would do it on Sunday night or first thing Monday morning, writing down that, all right, Monday, things have changed now because of the gym being shut down. We had to turn our garage into a gym at home, but if I said, Monday I'm going to do TRX in the morning, and then I'll do strength training at night, or maybe Tuesday I can't do spin class, so I'll do Friday spin class. So it just helps you plan out what you're going to do for that week to keep yourself accountable.
Now, with your home gym in your garage, right?
It's a 1980s edition, but she works.
Hold on. But I saw something else happening in the gym that was working on. This picture right here of where you are changing gears.
Oh, my Jeep. Yeah, so that's at the shop.
What's the name of your Jeep?
Black Betty.
Black Betty.
She bad.
So at the shop, you're changing these things out.
Yeah.
That is a cool Jeep.
Yeah, I love my Jeep. It's been my dream since pre-kids, pretty much. Well, right, like when I had my daughter, I was like, I just want a Wrangler so bad. But okay, Jeeps are not really made for like infant car seats and stuff. Like it's just not enough room. So once our boys got into like small booster seats, I was like, all right, that's it.
Well,
we're doing it.
I want to go right here to a word from our sponsors, because there was some Jeep work that got done on that, and that thing looks good. And I want to take it to them right now. Welcome back, y'all. We are still here with Bekah Helbig, telling us about this great journey that she is on. It is totally inspiring. Has changed my life just watching it, and knowing Bekah personally has changed it even more. So I hope that you guys are getting impacted in a great way and putting something into practice. Commitment to greatness will change your life, as we see right here today.
Here we are.
And so I want to ask you this question, because I know on a journey, many times people have the goals of getting to a certain weight, or getting to a certain level of finance, or getting to a certain level of being able to parent the way they want to, or getting this stuff. But I see this a lot, talking about enjoying the journey.
Right.
And so, what are some memorable aspects or points along your journey that stand out to you?
I would have to say getting to the point of running my half marathon. So much.
Now, you sent me pictures of that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, we're showing them now.
So much training went into that. And if I'm honest, I honestly never thought I would be able to do it. I mean, it's a big deal, coming from the girl who in like elementary school and middle school, when she had to run the mile, they used to give us straws to hold in her hand. And I would fold straws in half to make it look like I had ran more laps than I did. Like, I hated running. It was so bad.
She did not share the secret with
I
you.
didn't. Pat's like, why didn't I know about that? It was my trick. I didn't want everybody to know so that I couldn't get away with it anymore.
Right.
So, going from that to willingly and paying money to run over 13 miles at one time was crazy to me. But, I had run my first 5K, and then I had ran a couple more 5Ks, and then I had joined a marathon relay team for the One City Marathon in Newport News. That was 2 Marches ago. Okay. And me and 3 other friends did that. And I was sick as a dog. Oh man, I was so sick that morning, but I was like, oh, I'm doing it. Like, I have to. My team is counting on me. Like, I have to do this. So with like 102 fever in the cold and rain, I ran, I think my leg of that was like 8 miles, maybe 9 miles. Wow. And that was the furthest that I had run. And I mean, I was sick and I ended up walking some of it, but I didn't care. I finished, Right. That was my thing. I was like, I just have to finish. So, and our team actually ended up placing first for all female teams for that. It was so cool.
That's what's up.
So I did that, and then, I'd run a few more races here and there. And then last October, me and it was a team of 12 girls, 12 runners, and then we had a driver for each van. Okay, we rented Suburbans, and 7 girls in each Suburban did a race. It was called the Tuna 200, and it was from Raleigh, North Carolina is where we started, and we ended in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, and it was 206 miles, and each runner ran 3 legs. So like my first leg was like 6 miles in Raleigh, and then the rest of your team runs their first leg. And
so is that the video with you changing?
Yes, batons.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had like a bracelet, and one runner would come in, hand you your bracelet, you'd slap it on, and then you'd go and hand it off to the next runner at the next point. So my first leg was like midday in Raleigh, and then I ran at like 2 a.m. in the middle of you think Matthews is country, some country road, like in North Carolina somewhere. And then we all ended on the beach in Atlantic Beach. And that was really, really cool. That was like I think altogether my mileage was like around 15 miles total for that. We attempted to sleep in the Suburbans, or there's a picture of me laying on the ground on like a tarp trying to sleep for a few hours at one point. And people were like, you are crazy. What is the fun in that? It was so fun though.
Do you think having, with like the marathon style, having the team running with you was a big motivation?
Oh yeah, for sure. And like you become so close to the people that you were running on a team with. Like I'm telling you, I had friends powdering me down on the side of the road in places that you're like, no one should ever powder you, especially not on the side of the road. And at that point you're like, I don't care. Like just
whatever it takes.
Spraying biofreeze on you. I mean, I tweaked my knee, and so that was in October, the end of October, and my half marathon was exactly a month later in November. So I kind of tweaked my knee during our tuna races, and I was like, in the back of my head, I'm not going to be able to run this half. I'm not going to be able to run it. My knee is tweaked. But I did. So we do, it's the Norfolk Harbor Half Marathon.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Norfolk Harbor 5K was the first 5K that I had ever run. And so it was kind of we're going back every year, like, type thing. It's just so fun. So Saturday morning is the 5K. Okay. Which we did. It ended up being like our team of girls, like in my van, the 7 of us from Tuna, ended up going to the Norfolk and getting hotel rooms together and running the 5K together. Gotcha. And then a bunch of us also ran the half marathon on Sunday. Okay. So we've kind of got this little running family, and it's so fun. And it's not about whose time is faster and who, is the better runner. Like, we support each other so much, and it's so good to have that, But yeah, so I ended up running the 5K on Saturday and then the half marathon on Sunday.
And one of the things that I hear about this is, number one, doing what it takes. Yeah. And number two, having folks to do it with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I think even in business, parenting, that committing to life change, having that team is important, because if we're all moving in the same direction, and I love what you said, it's not about who has the fastest time. Right. It's about that we're doing this together and we're moving in the same direction. Yeah. Hope, you said,
when I was training for my 5K, my first one, Hope had run a full marathon at that point, and she's running like a 8-minute mile. And I'm like, I'm over here having to walk every, quarter of a mile. And my pace is like, when I first started, I was like at like a 15-minute pace, 15 to 16 minutes, and I felt like I was dying. Gotcha. Literally could not breathe after running that far, without stopping. And I used to tell her, I'm holding you back when we were training. And she's like, no, like, this is how you do it. We are making each other better here. You're helping me train somebody, and it's encouraging me, and it's helping you. And so now I flipped that to, now I'm helping people start running, and it hasn't been that long, for me. So, I mean, and it's crazy. The more you practice, the more you run, the better your pace gets. And to me, it's not even about what my pace is. Like, I would rather run, a longer distance at a slower pace than kill myself running a shorter pace or a shorter distance at a faster pace. That's so good. That's my thing. I'm like, well, I am glad that you can run a mile in 5 minutes, but I like running 13 miles at, 10 to 11 minutes.
So finding your pace for the distance you want to go is key.
Yeah. And just sticking to it. I mean, there's times where you're in your head, my knee was tweaked. It was throbbing pretty much the whole time. And, I would get to a water station, and, I try to walk through water stations, and just to kind of catch your breath a little bit, drink your water, don't choke on it, and then start running again. And, towards the end, I would say probably about mile 11, my knee was really, really hurting me.
Y'all hear that? Mile 11.
Okay. it was kind of one of those, it gets instantly stiff, so you have to keep moving. So because the longer you stay still, the stiffer it's going to get. Right. So, I would drink my water at the water station, and I would, in the back of my mind, you've got that, just walk. It's okay. You can just walk for a little bit, give your knee a rest. And then I'm like, no, like, I can run. It hurts a little bit, but I can push through this. I did not want to walk through this. That was my whole goal. I did not care what my time was. Right. I just wanted to run it, walk through the water stations and run the rest. And so you just have to, I tell everybody, keto, dieting, making a lifestyle change, it is mental. The whole thing. Like, yes, you have to put in the physical work of working out and stuff, but even that, it's your mind making up the point of, I'm going to do this. And getting the doubt out and, wiping away the part of you that's saying, you can't do that. You can't run a half marathon. You can't lift, that much, or you can. You just have to tell yourself you can.
Let me ask you this question. What made you believe?
Seeing the results, I think.
Seeing the results.
Yeah.
So
knowing that I could do something that I didn't think I could.
Gotcha.
That's what changed my whole mindset was, I didn't think that I could work out like I do. I didn't think that I could have success losing weight. I didn't think that I could help someone else, on their journey to weight loss when I still had so much weight to lose myself,
Right.
But then taking a step back and being like, you're doing it. You can, I used to say, nobody even a year in, and people were asking me for help. And part of me was like, they don't want my help. I still have like 50 pounds to lose, or, right. I'm not the fastest runner, or, I don't have the best form,
right.
But you can help people. You don't have to be at your goal weight to help somebody else start their journey,
One thing I want to pull from what you said with Hope is how it seemed like you were a burden to her.
Yeah.
But actually you were helping her.
Yeah.
And then in helping her, you got better.
Yeah.
By just being you on your journey.
Yeah.
And then you got to help others.
Yep.
So to wrap that up in my brain is that your why is contagious.
Yeah. You help everybody, like not even knowing that you're helping somebody. I have people, sometimes I have been like, why do I post all of this on Facebook? Or why am I posting another recipe? Or why am I posting another before and after? Like, nobody wants to see another before and after, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, people are probably like, oh my gosh, she is so conceited. Like, she's posting another before and after. Like, look at me, I've lost a lot of weight. But, you've got that in the back of your mind. But then it never fails. Every single time I do, someone messages me and is like, I needed to see that today, or I'm getting ready to start, or I had lost 40 pounds and I fell off the wagon and I've gained 30 back, and I needed that. Or so every single time I'm like doubting myself of, should I post this, or nobody wants to see this. I think about getting those messages and I'm like, you know what? Somebody needs to see this today. And that's what like got me going on keto in the first place. Is I would go on like Pinterest, mm-hmm. or I would go to Instagram and type in keto before and afters,
right.
and literally look at before and after pictures. And that is what I'm like, I click on their profile. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't a paid ad for some weight loss program or anything. Right. This is a real person with real results who has done the work themselves. And that's what made me do it. So I'm like, mine could help somebody else maybe.
I want to go to this picture right here that I came across. And it is where some companies started. Because it reminded me when you said the before and after.
Yeah.
How like, I think it was Amazon and some other companies started in these small like shack looking places.
Yeah.
And now look at the companies.
Where they are, yeah.
And so you can be what you see on the inside. Mm-hmm. You just got to see it for yourself and put it to where you can see it.
Yeah.
So we're going to go. We'll be right back to close it out here with Bekah. I hope that this is blessing your life. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to Seemingly Unrelated with Bekah Helbig. She has told us some great stories, very inspirational, some tips, some pointers about how to stay on the road to greatness. And so there are a couple more questions I just want to ask you.
Shoot, man.
Is how do you feel about the season that you're in, like where you're at in this place in life?
Really good. Yeah.
Really
So people who already follow me know that when I first started keto, I said, once I started losing weight and realized that I could do it, I said, even though I work out a lot, just when you lose a lot of weight, and my goal was around 100 pounds, you have loose skin. And it's inevitable. No matter how much you work out, when you have had, 1, 3 kids, okay, and 2, that much weight loss, you're just, there's no amount of working out and tightening that you can do. It's just going to be there. So I said I would, if I lost 100 pounds, I would get a tummy tuck. Gotcha. So I did, like 3 weeks ago today. Woo-hoo. And a lot of people, part of me was like, do I tell people that I'm doing this? It's personal, and it's a huge, very invasive surgery. And the more I thought about it, I was like, I can't just show up to the beach one day looking completely different, and people just thinking I got that from just working out, Right. So, and I've tried to be so honest and vulnerable through my entire weight loss thing. I was like, Right. That's like lying. It's like holding a huge piece back. And I'm not ashamed of it, because I did the hard work to get there, to Right. need that. So I did. And the first 4 days after surgery were horrendous. And
there's a picture of you sitting in a chair by your pool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was like the Sunday after surgery, and the first day I felt like myself again. I had surgery on a Tuesday morning, and I did not come around until that Sunday morning. But I kept telling my husband, I was like, I regret it. Why did you let me do this? And he's like, you don't mean that. And I was like, yes, I do. Yeah, I regret it. It's not worth it. But then once you come off the pain medicine, which was horrible. I hate taking pain medicine, period. It was awful. And can move around a little bit. And I was seeing some results already. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, and my doctor told me, when I went in for my consultation, I still, he's checking my stomach out, and he's like, this is all skin. And in my head, I was still like, I can do more to tighten this before I have surgery. I can do more. And he's like, you can't. You have put in the hard work to get here, and now it's my job to do what I do, Right. to help you be proud of the hard work you've put in. And so a lot of people might want to know, I don't know, a lot of people asked, did you have to have lipo too? And I did not. And the doctor said that was because I work out so hard that Right. I didn't have any access,
It was just skin.
It was skin, yeah. So he took about 8 pounds of skin off of me. And everybody was like, I have some pictures that I haven't been brave enough to post yet of the before surgery. One day I'll get there though. And people are like, I had no clue you had that much skin. And I'm like, well, I made sure everything I wore hit it, So I could not be happier. And now, it's been driving me crazy not being able to work out for the past 3 weeks. So yesterday I did my first little mini workout.
Hey, that's what I saw.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I'm telling you, everybody was like, you're going to hurt yourself. You haven't been totally cleared yet.
She was not lifting a refrigerator then.
No, I didn't. I did no core work. I just did some lunges, a few squats, and some arms. But it felt so good. And I never thought I would be that person to be like, I haven't worked out for 3 weeks. I'm going insane. But it's been the hardest part.
But I think there's one point in there that is a key point, is the fact that you worked as hard as you could. You did everything that you could.
Yeah.
And that put you in a great place for somebody to do what you couldn't.
Yeah, and I also want to make a point. I have a lot of people that follow me on Instagram, from tagging weight loss and keto and tummy tuck surgery and everything. And a lot of people have messaged me saying things like, I want a tummy tuck for my weight loss, like weight loss surgery. And I'm like, no, it's not a weight loss surgery. A lot of plastic surgeons, they won't even do it unless you're within 10 pounds of your goal weight. Gotcha. So I just want people to know, it's not a weight loss surgery at all. It is after weight loss or after you've put in the work that's when you benefit from it.
Right.
So.
And I mean, because you have the mindset change.
Yeah.
Because you can have the surgery but not have the mindset change.
Exactly. And that's what I've told some people. I'm like, you don't want to go into this where you haven't changed your thought process on food or
Gotcha.
exercise or healthy living. You'll immediately gain your weight right back, and all of that, believe me, excruciating pain is not going to be worth it. So you want to, have a good mindset of healthy foods, healthy portions, a good exercise routine, even if it's just walking, that's good for you. Just so many people are like, I can't run, I'm just walking. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
You're not sitting on the couch.
Right.
Just get your blood pumping a little bit.
So what would you say to someone who's on the edge of a commitment to greatness? Whether it's fitness, whether it's changing eating habits, whether it's launching out for their business, because I believe that what you did in losing the weight is a principle that can be applied to a lot of different areas.
I would say don't listen to the doubters, because no matter what you're doing, whether it's weight loss, whether it's starting a business, I mean, y'all know how it is starting a business.
Right.
My husband has the business, and so many people and I don't think that they mean it as negatively as it sounds. I think there's, people who are just super positive, and then people who are realists,
Right.
who want to make you aware of the negative things that could happen or the possibility of something not working out,
Right.
Whereas me, I try to be like a glass half full person,
Right.
And so when you are trying to start something, you are going to have people fill in your head with, it's probably not going to work, or you love pasta. You can't do a weight loss. You'll
Right.
never lose weight if you love pasta. Well, guess what? Pasta was like my love language, okay? And there's this thing called spaghetti squash and zucchini noodles. Game changer, okay? Game changer. But it's just little things like that. Don't let their negativity get in your head. You know what you want, and there are people, that's what you need to find your people that are going to support you. And even when you're having a hard day, reach out to them, because they will help you through it. They will help you be like, no, you have come this far, you have greatness in you, and you can do it. So
one of the things too is you're on here, you can drop a comment below. I believe that the people who are watching this are people who are committed to greatness, and you might find some of your tribe here. So just drop your name, drop your Instagram handle below, and you might find some people to do life with that will feed you that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, add
that.
me. I love helping people starting out. I will send you the link to get your macros set up if keto is the way that you're thinking you want to go, or even if it's, Weight Watchers, or just portion control on your own, or trying to figure out a plan so that you can learn how to do start a 5K. I would love to help you do that. So, it doesn't take that much time out of my day, and I can send you an easy 5K starting plan, or even if it's a mile that you want to run, we can do it. So.
Well, thank you for being with us
No
today,
problem.
Bekah. I want to pray for the people who are watching because I believe that there's somebody in here that knows that there is like super greatness on the inside of them, and it is definitely mental, spiritual, and having to do with the physical. Actually, I saw one post that said, if you ask God to move a mountain, be prepared to wake up beside a shovel.
Beside a shovel. Heck yeah.
And
It's
so
true.
We want to make sure that we're praying for you. We're here for you. That's what the Anchorage is about. And so let's build together. Let's pray. God, we thank you for those who are watching. We thank you for Bekah and the time that she has given and the story that you have allowed her to share here. Father, we thank you that you'll continue to bless her, keep her, let her family shine in great ways, continue to bless them. And Lord, for those who are watching online, who have the greatness on the inside of them, and they may not know what next step to take, that you're illuminating their next step, and that you're giving them the drive and passion and tribe around them to keep on pressing, to become everything that you've designed for them to become. And we thank you for all those things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you for being with us,
It
Bekah.
was fun.
Listen, follow her on Instagram, add her as a friend on Facebook. Also, after this, we're going to have an area where you can sign up to get some updates for some things that she's working on. We're excited that you are here. Be great. You have greatness on the inside of you. You got to keep pressing because greatness is waiting on you.